Where do you go to at night when you dream? And what is the dream world actually? We're going to talk about that because a lot of you are going to be very surprised as to what's really happening at night when you dream and where you go to. I'm also going to be looking at, should you be analyzing your dream, or is there perhaps a bigger message that everybody's overlooking if we stopped chasing the meaning and the analytical aspect of what those symbols mean? Could there be a much bigger picture? Well, yes, there is. Let's talk about that, starting off with where you go to when you dream. 4D is the answer, the elusive, the fabled 4D, the place between third and fifth dimension. The fourth dimension that we never really talk about is because we go there every night when we dream. We're very familiar with 4D. But what you may not be familiar with is the fact that there are, in fact, two 4D worlds. And in a little bit, I'm going to talk about the nature of 4D. There are two 4D worlds, and that is pure organic fourth dimension. And there's a false matrix 4D, which is called the astral world. Now, the false matrix in and of itself is not part of the organic creation template. It's unplugged from God's natural creation templates. That's why everything looks so upside down and so damn weird here, because it really is. It's highly, highly dysfunctional, including the 4D that we have, which we've known as the astral. But whether it's 4D or whether it's the astral, there are some things that we can look at that are common across all of them, because of course the astral is mimicking 4D. And what happens in our dream world is what happens in 4D, is what happens in the astral. And that is, there's not time. There's no time and there's no space. So if you go into your dream, you can be in Siberia and you're freezing cold. And the next thing you think about a desert island, and bam, there you are. You're on the desert island. What plane did you take to get there? There was no plane. You were just there. And who put that ice cream in your hand? You don't know, but you're just busy eating it, and it happens to be your favorite flavor. But now suddenly you're in an aeroplane jumping, and there's a crocodile's mouth that you're about to land into. But look over there, there's palm trees. Okay, crazy world, right? Crazy, crazy world. But do you see? There's no space between one experience and the other. They mishmash, and it's very instant. So we call that dreamy, but it's really 4D. So you are multidimensional, and you are traveling interdimensionally. When you go into your dream world, though, it used to be that you had to go to sleep, first of all, to access the subconscious, and second of all, to have a chance of having higher communication, which is why people would have very prophetic dreams, or I would hear things about, I spoke to God in my dream, I spoke to an angel in my dream. Yeah, we needed to go to sleep, so to speak, like get out of the way, get the conscious mind out of the way, in order to have an experience that bypassed the brain, which was very often an experience that bypassed the false matrix, because the brain is what links us to the false matrix. Nonetheless, you don't have to go to sleep now. You don't have to go into a dream world now. In your waking everyday world, yeah, on the not so great side, you've got everything buried right up here. It's not so buried after all. But on the other hand, you've got everything that you could ever have wanted in the same place, which is right here. As the underworld and the astral world collapsed around us, you can go and watch the video where I talk more about that on my channel. As that occurred, it put us into proximity with information, sometimes a bit of debris, but a whole lot of divinity and a whole lot of light that we'd never had access to before. So right now, as our dreamscape becomes perhaps a little bit intensified, there is no real need to panic. There is just the observation, my subconscious is clearing, because we went through so many lifetimes of storage. It got locked into the subconscious. The subconscious became just too damn heavy because we didn't have release cycles. The false matrix was a relentless reincarnation cycle, and we were just growing that subconscious. So now it doesn't even have to make sense anymore. And that leads me to that important question. Do I need to make sense of my dreams? Do I need to analyze? I dreamt of a spider. What does it mean? You know, all that narrative that we can get lost in. Very much depends on whether or not you're scared of spiders. So yes, there's a universal language, but it's more personal. I can say to you, frogs normally are about the truth being revealed, something that was hidden coming to the surface, or something that somebody doesn't want you to see coming to the surface. That's what frogs are about. That's the very generalized, archetypal, symbolic meaning of frog. But are you afraid of frogs? Because that's going to have a big influence. Or better yet, in the dream, how did you feel when you saw the frog? Or the spider, or the airplane, or whatever it is? How did you feel? Because actually what you're being given is not an opportunity to go into analysis, but an opportunity to go into release in the morning when you wake up. What you could do, and I really suggest that you do this, is you wake up, if you remember your dream, and by the way, if you don't remember dreams, you're so fine, you don't need to, you really don't. But when you wake up in the morning, if you've remembered your dreams, instead of doing that good old analytical jog around the block, turn your dreams into puffs of smoke. It's a puff of smoke. I'm letting it go. I'm learning to just acknowledge, not analyze, acknowledge, and then puff of smoke. Acknowledge and release. This will stand you in such good stead, and it's such good practice for what we're going to be doing as we move closer and closer to ascension. So now that you understand a little bit more about 4D, I want you to know that you don't need to know, am I in having a dream in pure 4D or in astral? That's part of the analytical rabbit hole you just don't need to go down. You've been in the astral, and we are, with our eyes open and our eyes closed now, in direct proximity to the astral. So that's not going to be the anomaly. The anomaly is going to be, man, I had a dream and it just felt so pure. And I felt so centered and so calm and so together. That's worth taking note of, because that is possibly you playing with, dipping your toe in the water of that pure 4D world. You'll first go there, and then you go to 5D. First you go to 5D in consciousness, then you go to 5D in physicality. Aren't you phenomenal? Aren't you way more phenomenal than you ever gave yourself credit for being? You thought you were just a 3D being. You actually have been in 4D all along. Whilst in this 3D body, your consciousness extends into 4D, and even beyond that sometimes. You bring it in through the dream worlds, and right now through your everyday waking world as well. You don't have to wait to be a multidimensional wonder. Just be who you are today. Let me know in the comments below if this video has supported your understanding about your multidimensional nature. If you haven't watched it, The Collapse of the Astral and Underworld, go and watch it now. From my heart all the way into yours. Lots of love, everyone.